All right, we're going to do our first drawing with circles. So before we get started, we are going to have to change the settings in our grid and our snap. So I'm going to come down here to my grid. Make sure your grid is on, your snap is on. Make sure your ortho, this fourth one, is off, and make sure your object snap is off. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to right click on my grid, and I'm going to go to grid settings. So for this first drawing, we need our snap to be set at 0.25 and our grid to be set at 0.5. So our grid is already set at 0.5, which is good, but we need to change our snap settings. So I'm going to change it to 0.25, and then you just click here and it updates it. And that's what we needed to do first. So we have our grid and our snap are set correctly, so I'm going to click OK. Now we're going to draw a pretty basic drawing with 11 circles. So in this, we are actually going to be working with the radius of circles. So in the drawing and on the website, you are going to have an example of the circles, the drawing, with the correct radiuses of the circle. Now, for those of you who have taken geometry, and you should know that there's two kinds of ways to measure a circle. You can measure it by the radius, which is technically from the center out to the sides, or you can measure it with the diameter, which is from the center or all the way across. So if we have a circle with a diameter of 6, the radius is going to be 3. It's always going to be half. So you do have to pay attention to that, because if I tell you to draw a circle with a radius of 3 and you draw it with the diameter of 3, they're going to be completely different sizes. So our first drawing is going to have, like I said, about 11 circles, and the best way to draw this is to technically draw the outer circle first and then the two inner circles, and that's going to actually help us place our other circles. So our first inner circle, we're going to use the radius tool, like I said. So you're going to grab your radius circle, and the point is going to be, the center is going to be 6 and 4.5. So it's asking us specify center point for the circle. So we're going to do 6, comma, 4.5, enter. Now it's given us the center. So now we need to know what our radius of this first circle is. Now on the drawing, this circle is listed as J. So the radius of our circle J is 4. So I'm just going to type in 4, enter. That is our outer circle. Now we need to do our very center circle and our next circle that's right outside of that center circle. So we're going to go back to 6.6, comma, 4.5. So first up, I'm going to bring up my circle tool again. So make sure you have the radius circle tool. Now you can either click radius circle tool every time and keep clicking the circle tool, or what you can do, let me exit this. If you've just drawn a circle and you need to draw another circle, just push enter and it'll bring back up the circle tool again. So our center is going to be 6, comma, 4.5 again. However, this time the radius of our circle is going to be 0.38. So if I type in 0.38, enter, there's my inner circle. I'm going to draw another circle again. So I'm going to push my enter key to bring up the circle tool again, and this is going to be circle H with a radius of 1. Ooh, that ended up in the wrong. Oh, I forgot to put in my center points. So I'm going to push enter again to bring up my circle. Now if you remember, it's 6, comma, 4.5, enter. Centered again, nice. And then radius of 1, enter. There we go. Now for this next part, the drawing shows you the size of all the circles, but it does not show you the placement of them. So this is something that you're going to have to use your grid and look at. So I'm going to start with circle A because it's the smallest and it's pretty easy to find on the grid. So I'm going to press enter. If you look at the drawing, it goes from the center and it goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. So I'm going to go from the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's the center point. The radius is 0.12, 0.12, enter. There's my circle A. So bring up the circle tool again by pressing enter. I'm going to go straight down to box C, or circle C, which is right here. C is 0.38. Now there is going to be a circle in this area. However, it's easiest to draw the ones that are straight out from the center first. So I'm going to do circle E, and that is 0.62. Enter. Circle tool again. I'm going to go straight up and oops, straight up, and the G circle is 0.88. Very nice. So now I still have 4 more circles, which are in between here. So I'm going to bring up the circle tool. This one you kind of have to figure out a little bit where the circle or the center is going to be. So I know if this is the center here, circle H is going to be, I'm just following along right there. So that should be the center of circle H. Looks about right. Bring up the circle tool again. So I'm just following along with the way it looks on the grid. Oops, right there. That's B. B is 0.25. Circle tool. Circle tool. Nope. See, I accidentally clicked a different tool. All right, circle tool again. Goes from the center here over to here and up. And this is circle D, and that's 0.50. Circle tool again. Going up. Right there, this is F. F is 0.75, enter. So there we have it. We have all of our circles, and they are in the correct spots and the correct sizes. You do not have to put the letters on these ones or do the numbers. I just did that for the drawing for you to see online so you know the sizes and where each circle goes. So hopefully you guys can get the hang of circles with this first drawing.